Listeners, you're in for a treat today. We haven't even started yet, and I can already tell you that there aren't enough hours in the day for me to ask our guest all of the questions that I've come up with through following her journey through the eyes of social media. Dani popped up on my Insta a while back, and I was immediately taken in by her vibe, style, her beauty, but most importantly, her ability to show so much vulnerability in sharing her journey and life.
I have people who reach out to me, thankfully, and they're like, well, I'm not going through as bad as what you're going through. And I'm like, that doesn't matter because, yes, I'm going through this, and this, but that doesn't mean that you have to suffer in silence.
We talk a lot in this podcast about becoming, about the moments that shape us, stretch us, and sometimes completely reroute us. And today is certainly no exception. Today's guest, Dani Squires, knows that journey well. Through her work, Dani has built a reputation for helping people navigate growth and change, showing up with honesty, intention, and a deep belief in what's possible when we trust ourselves.
So people are suffering in silence, living in abusive relationships because they don't have the tools to do anything else, and they don't feel like what they're going through is as important as somebody else, so they don't want to bug you. I try to make my space. If you need someone, come to me.
She's someone who understands that success isn't always linear and that the most meaningful transformations often happen in the in-between moments. That's so true. Her story is one of growth, resilience, and learning to trust the process, even when it doesn't look anything like the plan. This is a conversation about stepping into who you are meant to be, not all at once, but little by little, piece by piece. Welcome to Some Assembly Required, where we fix what's broken, or at least pretend to really well. Dani, welcome to Some Assembly Required.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yay! So, you and I connected on the Insta. See, I'm so much older than you.
I mean, you don't look it, so it's all good.
But this was a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah,
and we were like, let's get together for lunch. And we kind of kept going back and forth on things.
Life is crazy.
And then we kind of go let's make it a date. And it never happened. And here we are.
Yeah.
We'll still have to make that lunch happen.
We do.
So we have a few things in common. We both graduated from UMB.
We did.
You a little bit later than me. Dani, where are you from? Are you from New Brunswick?
Yeah, so I'm from Moncton.
You're from Moncton.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm from Miramichi.
Yeah.
So we're NB girls.
Yeah, 100%
100% through and through. Okay. Watch out, listeners. NB girls know how to dish.
Yes.
So Dani, tell me this. You are so well known in Nova Scotia for the work that you do, and I mean beyond in mental health. I mean, you're out there posting, you're talking about real shit, and you're not glossing over it. And I mean, I know how much, I take my leg off on stage in front of people, and I understand while it's easy and it feels natural sometimes, it's still difficult. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot of courage, right? Two things can be true.
Yeah.
So what really just started your journey?
Well, so I grew up in a very unstable household. My parents, they didn't get along very well. I always say my dad was a great person, but a not great parent. My mother was physically abusive, emotionally abusive, you name it, she was it. It was actually the school that got involved and basically said, to my dad, you need to take her out of this or we're going to call social services. And so
What age were you around that?
I was in grade 4, I believe, 4 or 5. And so the counselor saw the bruises. My mom had threw me. Do you remember those really old TVs that were mounted into like wood.
Oh gosh, I do. Absolutely. I had one.
It's chilling in my basement. So like she had thrown me against that. And I just remember going into school thinking it was I grew up thinking it was normal. I grew up thinking that this happened to everyone.
So did you talk about it? Did you think it was so normal that you talk about it? You just thought it's normal and I don't even need to talk about it?
Yeah, it wasn't
not keeping it a secret.
Yeah, it wasn't. And I think that's the thing with kids is that kids don't understand that what they're going through is wrong. Right. And so when I grew up, I just, I thought everybody's mom, put cigarettes out in their legs. And everybody's mom, you know, told them if they ate a chocolate bar, they're going to get super fat. And like, that was just normal. And then, so when my dad took me out of that situation, my mom, for some reason, kept my brother. My brother is currently in jail right now. So yeah, it's very different lifestyles. And I guess it is a nature versus nurture thing. But like I said, my father wasn't prepared. Like most parents aren't prepared to be parents. Like there's
especially not single parents.
Yeah. And like I said, my dad is like to this day, so I moved out when I was 17, went to UMB.
Yep.
And
can I just say, like, so incredible that you we're going to talk more about how this has shaped you, but for you to just move out when you're 17 and hit up university.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I never really saw anything different. Like I started work when I was 13. I started at Tim Hortons. My stepmom had worked there. So my parents had to sign forms that basically if I got in trouble, they would have to like come into the meetings with me. Okay. And so it was a great job. You know, it helped me pay for food. I was able to buy my clothes. Like my dad, even though he had me, the way the system kind of worked at the time is he still had to pay alimony and child support for my brother.
Right.
But we barely had enough to live. So my dad was still paying alimony while we were homeless. And we literally didn't, like I was staying with my best friends, Candace and Ashley and my sister for months. And so my sister, it's a long story short, she was from Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I've had her since I was 10. And so I'm actually going there this weekend. But I was staying, like Big Brothers and Big Sisters had to get involved because there's like, you're only allowed to stay there one night a month, I think. Like,
okay. I had a little brother at one point in time, but
there's a lot of rules surrounding it.
There were, absolutely. Yeah.
So
and
they
it kind
really
of fizzled off because they moved away.
Yeah.
But what a program.
Yeah, incredible program and like great people. So like with Big Brothers Big Sisters, with my friends' moms, they let me, you know, stay there. And my dad was crashing on couches in his car. And, you know, like I said, like we had no house. We had no stability in grade 12. So, you know, I was definitely the pretty rough kid growing up. Like, I always tried to not get in trouble because they were always dealing with my brother. Because my brother had ADHD. My brother would, you know, beat people up, and, you know, he was in and out of the court system at 13. Like, we were just kids, and he was such a bully. And I definitely wasn't the nicest person, but when I transitioned into university, because I knew I had to get out, I knew the life I wanted wasn't the life I had.
So how did you know that? Like I'm just, like I said, I knew this was going to happen. I'm just going to be like, I don't want to interrupt at all, but
please do.
Like, given all you were being challenged and faced with at such a young age, how did you know that was not the life for you and that there was something bigger and better out there?
So it's really hard. I don't feel like there was really like a moment or something that pinpointed when I wanted the change. But when I was in high school, it's like there would be like a lot of assemblies, and high school is not the be all end all. Like you still have an entire life. Like high school sucks. And looking back, high school did suck. It was awful. It was terrible. You know, there's still some people like I see on Facebook that pop up, and I'm just like, oh, I hate that person. Like, and you know, what do you hit? Don't know this person, or like, stay out of my life. Like, check mark, goodbye. But like, so through high school, it was like, you know, I wanted a house. I wanted kids. I wanted to travel. And, you know, my dad wasn't a traveler, and, you know, we never had a house, and, you know, we never, like, affording food was a big thing. Like, we went to food banks and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want that for myself. And being, you know, 15 and saying, you know, when I grow up, I don't want to go to a food bank. That is, looking back, that's really powerful and heartbreaking, because you can really go two ways. Like, you see the way my brother went, and, you know, I hate to bring him up, but the stark difference is, like, my brother uses the fact that I went to university against my dad all the time. And I'm still paying off my student loans. Like, you know, I'm 30, and I'm like, you know, paying like $600 a month, and I'm just like trying to get that to go down. But my brother's like, you know, you paid for her to go to university. And my dad's like, you know, I didn't pay for anything.
Yeah.
Like my dad gave me $25 a week. I drank a lot my first couple of years. I do not drink anymore, but, I drank a lot to get through. And then,
I drank my allowance in university as well. And
well,
then
that's
some.
And like I was 17.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And living in residence, and you have, people,
Absolutely.
you have friends.
Prince
and
Igor vodka.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Cheapest of the cheap with some grapefruit.
Oh my goodness. The fruitiest thing that you have, sir. Get me whatever. Like the most colorful, fruitiest. I mean, that's still me today if I do drink. But so I just look at the stark difference.
Yeah.
Like, my brother still does drugs and he's still, in and out of jail. And, you Google him and you see all of these bad things.
Right.
And, you Google me and, I've won awards and I've done this and I've done that. And when I went to university, that was really my goal, was to try and make the world a better place. Like I started volunteering instantly. I got involved with my residents.
Which one were you in?
I was in Harrison.
Okay, I was a Tibbetts girl.
Oh, so we were the call to the campus.
Okay.
They actually don't do it anymore, which is really sad, but it was the Great Pumpkin Sacrifice.
I know all about it.
Yeah. So it's a big family. Like any residence at UMB, you are like, even with other residences, like I'm still friends with, people from Neville and people from Neil and Bridges. Like we're all, we still keep in touch. We're still friends. Like I really feel like residence did change my life. I stayed there for 2 years and then moved out on my own. But being 17 and, moving out is so scary. Like I don't know how I did it.
Well, I don't know how you did it either. And what's, really interesting to me is yesterday we were in studio and we were having these big conversations about the pressures that like young people feel today to leave high school and go, directly to university, and maybe it's not their path. And I've got friends with kids that are like, and they're getting a full ride, but they're like, I don't want to be there. I don't know what I'm doing, and that's all okay.
Yeah.
But what I feel is just so remarkable was that you knew, like, you didn't.
I wanted to quit every day.
Well, yeah, but the life that you were shown didn't really lend itself to like reaching for the stars, right? And you said it. You can go one of two ways. And when people ask me, how can you be positive about, your leg or, and by the way, my brothers would like bring up like, oh, mom and dad paid for your school. And I'm like, no, I worked at the paper mill and almost got killed to pay for my school. Like, okay, lucky me, like whatever. Anyway,
like I held a job. I went to university. Well, that's the thing. Like it's such a jealousy thing. And it's like,
started. I mean, I love my brothers, but it's like when that stuff pops up, like, it's just like, what's the underlying thing? And like, it's interesting, I guess, and all I'll say, because I want to get back to my question, is that people really remember things differently. Yeah. That's for darn well sure.
Yeah.
But,
and it's not always the truth, because like I said, you worked your entire university.
I started working when I was 14.
Yeah. I worked the entire time, like since I was 13, kept that job, worked summer jobs, worked while in university. And, I'm still paying those student loans. Like, my dad is not paying my loans. I wish he was, but
he is not.
But he is not.
Yeah.
And, I've been paying them for 9 years now.
Yeah.
And, I'll probably be paying them for another 9 years.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the reality of choosing that path these days. Mm-hmm. And, unfortunately, that's not even necessarily meaning what it used to back in the day, which is landing you with a job that is going to afford you the income to pay them back, and also to live the life that you studied to live or that you aimed for. Yep. But, when you say you can go one way or the other, that's typically what I also find when I'm asked about how you be positive.
So depressed, and you could have stayed in the house, and you could be so embarrassed that you can't go out.
100%.
Or you can live your life.
And you know what? You can still feel a little bit embarrassed in bikini season. Mm-hmm. But you know what? People with two legs also feel that way.
100%.
And I have to tell myself, even still, because we're like, oh, you're confident. And I'm like, no. I mean, sometimes yes, but it's still hard sometimes to like show yourself, and I was just in Florida, and well, actually, I don't want to say that I'm going to the United States. Edit that out. I was just somewhere warm, and I was on the beach, and I was just by myself, and I had run out of sunscreen. I asked a mother and daughter, I was like, I'm so sorry, but can I borrow your sunscreen? And the mom was from Kentucky, and she's like, what happened to you, Peach? She's like, you got a brace on your knee. And I'm like, no, I have a prosthetic leg. She's like, what? People don't go to that person's missing a limb. That's not the automatic thing, right?
It's like that's different.
Yes, and this is, to talk about your passion and your support and all of the mental health aspect of things. In my work, I speak so much about the invisible injuries. So even though I could show you how I got hurt, it's not obvious to the naked eye.
No.
And some people can't show you at all how they got hurt.
And you have to overcome, like you said, people are embarrassed with 2 legs to wear a bikini. Yeah. Like that's a whole and that's their battle, and that doesn't diminish their battle because you have a different battle. It's just they're 2 different battles, and we can support each other going through the same battle, going through different battles at the same time.
100%. I find people will be like, oh, my foot, I got a thing with my toe, and they're like, what am I even saying? Why would I even say that to you? I'm like, just because I'm missing my leg doesn't mean your toe's not sore.
Yeah.
Right? So I love what you just said. We can all be supporting each other on different levels. It doesn't matter what the quote unquote severity of your battle is. Yeah. The purpose and the point is really to talk about it. And that way we're better equipped to 100%. Support each other going through it.
And I feel like there's so many people who, are privileged to have grown up in a great household with both parents that love them very much, but failing a test to them might be the end of the world. And so I had volunteered with the Kids Help Phone for many years, and I remember the crisis text line in the States. One of their biggest days was when One Direction broke up for mental health.
Okay, hold on. I just need to pause. Just hold on. I need a minute on that. Okay, hold on. One Direction. Okay, yeah. So kind of like New Kids on the Block, but later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Was that Harry Styles?
Yep.
Okay, I know. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Woo, I'm cooking. I know.
Proud of you.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so you're working with Kids Help Phone.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, does that still exist? Does that still exist?
Yeah, so the Kids Help Phone, so I was in the first cohort of their text line when it started in Manitoba. So I was the first group trained. And then it moved to Saskatchewan, where the Humboldt Broncos passed away. Then
I was just there in Humboldt.
Oh my goodness!
About a month ago. And my Airbnb host was the teacher for so many of those fellas and those people that passed away. And it's like you drive through Humboldt, and there's just this you can't think of anything else.
They're really in the news right now too, and it was a big thing for kids because you don't understand how to deal with that because most a lot of people are privileged to, not have any major traumas growing up.
And I would say I was one of them. But until I got hurt, that was the only, that was the first bad thing that happened to me. And it was like, whoa. And then I dealt with trust issues for 20 years after that, not understanding why, but I get it now. It's because, it's like all of a sudden the rug is pulled out from underneath you and you didn't see it coming.
And it can happen at any point of your life.
Yeah.
Like going back to the One Direction, all of these 10, 14-year-olds, that was the biggest thing that ever happened in their life. And suicide was prevalent. And, this was fortunately, this was the biggest thing to happen since then. And they just didn't know how to internalize it. And, I feel like all through school and when I was in school, elementary, middle, and high school, it was very much, if you have sex, you're going to die.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and I mean, my parents would be like, we're going to kill you.
Yeah, exactly. But nobody ever said, how do you feel? Yeah. There wasn't a lot of emotions. There isn't a class on how to deal with your emotions. There isn't, there's health class, but when I did PE, at least, we had one class every 6 or 8 weeks, which was in the classroom where we learned about, your lungs or, your stomach or nutrition. But not one class had ever been about that. And I had, through all of high school and a little bit of middle school, I had social workers come in. And, you would be so embarrassed because a social worker would come in class and pull you out. And you'd be
oh, God, double whammy.
So embarrassing.
Things are already shitty, and now the social worker's pulling you out.
And then, you need they're asking you about your dad and your mom. And you're like, I don't want to be here. I want to go back to class. I want to live my life. But you don't know, nobody's there to coach you through it. Nobody's there to help you. and things might have changed, in the last 15 years.
Yeah.
I don't know. But for me, it was, they were there, but they were never supports.
Gotcha. And to go back to the One Direction thing, like when you say that, right? And again, showing my age possibly, I don't know, but like I think that somebody maybe like even my mom or like me, you go like, oh my God, like that sounds crazy.
Yeah.
That someone would be so upset about One Direction. But the way you just framed that, it's because that was the biggest thing to happen to them.
And I mean,
right?
The way you just said it, when I heard that for the first time, I was literally like, you're freaking joking me.
Yeah, like you got to get a grip on yourself.
Yeah, and I was learning this. And I was like, that is the dumbest thing.
Yes.
Because like I did have a little bit of like, well, I went through this, and this.
100%.
And like, this freaking stupid band, like, don't say that. Don't say stupid band. Your generation's going to fucking kill me. Don't say that.
No, but you're just like, oh my God, you could have it so much worse.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be that person because you want to like hear people.
But when they like explained it and they were like, this is the worst thing to happen to them. Like this song got them through like, their first heartbreak.
Yeah.
And their first this or for that. And I was like, to them, this is the equivalent because it's the worst thing that's happened to them this far.
This is so like mind blowing to me right now because I've never really thought about that before. Like whatever
it's
that
all
thing
relative.
is, it's all relative. And whatever that thing is, if it's the worst thing that has ever happened to you, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to you.
Yeah, and it's like this is a very extreme case.
Yeah.
But like I always have people, because I talk about my mental health journey quite a bit. And, I have people who reach out to me, thankfully, and they're like, well, I'm not going through as bad as what you're going through. And I'm like, that doesn't matter because, yes, I'm going through this, and this, but that doesn't mean that you have to suffer in silence.
That's right.
And yes, even though, a boy band broke up, that's hard to somebody else. And like, when you put yourself in a different headspace and you get to see that, you're just like, it really changed the way I thought and definitely like helped me become like a positive crisis text line and like responder because when you're looking at somebody else going through things and through a different lens, even though you've been through, you lost your leg, like, I had an abusive parent, like just because, somebody got a C on a test, like you don't know if they're going to go home and their parents are going to yell at them. Like
you have no idea
you don't
what's
know
going
the
on
pressure
after
they
the
have.
person walks away.
Exactly. You don't know their goals. Like maybe that C kept them from getting into university. Maybe that C kept them, there's everything's relative to somebody else
100%.
And the pain is still pain and it still hurts and it still sucks. And I don't think that anybody should suffer in silence just because what they're going through is less than or they feel like it's less than somebody else's.
Dani, how did you become so compassionate? You're so, I definitely don't want to sound condescending, but my God, you're so young now and your journey is already well on its way. No, and your journey is already well on its way. It's like, how do you rise from the ashes of like what you went through and have that compassion? Like, where did that come from?
I'm definitely not perfect. And I definitely, there's things I say on social media that, I shouldn't be saying.
Oh, I love it. I'm here for all of your shit on social media. I love it.
I still, if somebody says something mean to me and, I'll post it on my stories.
Know you do.
And, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not a perfect person and, I'll call somebody out. Like, I think people's things are like, you're causing mental health to somebody else. I'm like, because somebody said something mean to me that I posted it and it's causing them mental health.
And now you feel like you need to weigh in on that?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for just 1 second, actually. And I want to say somebody said about me one time, this was before any kind of social media, but there was the internet. And there was this poster of me called, and it's a walked in, carried out. And I've got my Walkman and I'm at the gym and I'm wearing my running leg. And someone went on like a chat line or like a chat room and they said they could pitch a tent on my chin because it was so big.
I love your chin.
Well, I mean, thank you. I love my chin too. But it was like I was bullied before there was even stupid social media out there. Not stupid social media. Yeah. We don't want to say that. But what do you... Okay, I want to kind of like, I want to go into your thoughts, but at the same time, I want advice. I want people to get help. I want people to know, because you manage, you do so much living out loud on social media.
You,
How do you use it for good? And how do you, what is your advice to the people who are those trolling people that are just behind the keyboard and saying things and they're not brave enough to go out there and actually say what they feel face to face or in real life and show up authentically?
Well, so for the people, social media is such a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't get Instagram until about 7 years ago.
What did you start out with?
So I just started out with,
Okay.
So I just started out like, I just started posting like about 2 months before I started this Instagram. And, you know, it was a total accident. I didn't aim out to be an influencer. My husband and I took a trip around Cape Breton and we started Yelping all of these places. And then, you know, there used to be a Halifax chapter and we worked with Yelp a little bit and, you know, started posting stuff like that. And that's how like my Instagram kind of flourished. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of, when I had my car accident, it kind of became more about me because I couldn't go out as much. And then like the bullying on social media is it's so scary.
Terrifying.
And, you know, you look back when I was in high school, Ratea Parsons, Amanda Todd, like this is still a big issue. It's just not as talked about because it happens so much more. The bullying online, like the government will never be able to keep up with it.
No.
Like the police will never be able to keep up with it. And there's sometimes, you know, people will say things about me like, my weight or like anything like that. And I just, you know, I've gotten to a point where I'll just screenshot what they say and just post it in my stories and say like, oh, look at this person. And then, you know, their friends and family will reach out to me and be like, oh, well, that person really is not a good person. And, you know, I kind of
call them out.
Yeah.
I mean, if people are going to say stuff like that, you know, I feel like they should be prepared.
And Alicia McCarville is... not to name drop people, but Alicia McCarville is someone who I look up to in that aspect. She is such a powerful
What does
local.
she? I don't know who.
So Alicia is from Halifax.
Okay.
She's about, oh my goodness, I don't know how many followers she has, but like millions.
Oh my gosh, is she the girl with the husband that wears the cowboy hat?
Yeah.
I know who she is.
Yeah, she's wonderful.
She's fabulous.
She's fabulous. And she's really good at standing up for herself.
Yes.
And I started calling people out because she started saying, you know, this isn't okay. Just because I post my life doesn't mean you get to, and we see that with heated rivalry right now. Yeah. So these kids are coming out. Hudson Williams is, you know, a Asian Canadian, and people are being so racist towards him and being so homophobic.
Really?
Yeah, they're calling him like queer baiter and they're calling him this and calling him that. And, you know, his friend, like he's brand new to the scene.
Jeez
and then,
Louise.
you know, you have the people that are like, well, you signed up for this. You wanted to be famous. Like, okay, just because you have a job doesn't give people full access to your life.
Absolutely. And just because you want to be famous doesn't mean you want people to be mean to you.
And social media.
How does anybody reason that out to make any sense?
It's so scary. And like with social media and the ability to say what you want, the ability to make fake accounts, like the chances of you reporting everything to the police is very slim.
Yeah.
And most people feel like they can get away with it. And it's so heartbreaking. And, you know, that it really hurts people of all ages. Like, you know, I have people 40, 50, 60 who reach out to me and they were bullied on social media, or, you know, their mother-in-law said this on social media about them or something like that. Like social media is, like I said, a double-edged sword. It's so wonderful. You can learn so much, but you're also so self-conscious of yourself, and you're so like, it's so easy for people to beat you down.
Yeah.
Like when, I mean, I don't really remember this era, but
I do, I'm sure.
But like you could go home and shut it off. Like,
oh God, when I mean my era, there was no such thing. Like
exactly.
didn't even have the internet.
And now like you go home and you dwell on it, and you can you live in it 24/7. You can't shut it off.
Right. So I just actually, and I don't know if I've even said this on the podcast yet, but this January, and I'm starting to slip into my old ways a little bit right now because I've got a lot going on. Last January, I took Facebook and Instagram off my phone, not because I was being bullied, and really not even because I was partially because I was feeling the need to post so much about my work. Like if I'm not posting about it, people won't know I'm doing it. But I'm like, you know what? LinkedIn is that for me.
Yeah.
That's more my audience, you know, and it's like I don't have thousands and thousands and millions of followers. So then I, was like, do I look like a loser? Like what kind of a global motivational speaker only has 1,500 followers?
And then you're the one putting pressure on yourself.
And then I'm putting pressure on myself. Then the phone's listening, and I'm getting like, go on Ozempic and Wegovy and Botox and try this. I mean, I almost bought some crazy arse wrap for my face. Oh, there's Remember She coming out, crazy arse. I almost bought this like bandage wrap for my face for a double chin.
That too.
Did you? Yeah. So I was just getting ready because I take one day a week to hop on and take a peek, right? And I was like, I'm just getting ready to buy it. And it's like, dermatologists have confirmed there is no benefit to this product, right?
Well, I mean, I just want to stop you. I do get Botox. I think everybody knows that. I love my
vitamin B.
Oh, yeah. I will take Botox forever.
That is proven.
But like what I like and what somebody else likes, like social media shouldn't have to dictate that and shouldn't make you feel like you need to.
Exactly. And when it gets to be noisy, right?
I definitely talk about, I try not to be like pushy about it, but I talk about how much I love Botox.
Yeah.
And, it makes me feel good.
Well, you look damn good.
Thank you. You do too. Yeah. And, it does help me. And I also use Botox for medical reasons. Yeah. But it's the ads for like Ozempic that's like, you'll feel better. And Ilona Meyer, she's a rugby player. She was on Dancing with the Stars.
Okay, no, I don't know who. Okay, our producer back there, Madison, is giving the snaps that mean slay. I learned.
So she actually just came out and, she's an athlete.
Yeah.
And she has a strong build. And she's always said that, she struggles to feel feminine. She struggles to feel pretty because she's a rugby player and her body should look like that because girls out there, beating people down and, trying to win for her team. And she posted on TikTok the other day that, I'm seeing all of this and it's hard. And she's like, I see ads for Ozempic and Wegovy saying you should do this. And I see other athletes saying you should do this. And she's like, I'm very strong. I know I look good. I know I feel good. I know I eat well. Like she exercises all the time. And she's like, I fall into those traps.
Yeah.
So you don't have to feel alone. And so it's women like that, like Alicia McCarville, like Ilona Meyer, that, I kind of aspire to be like a little bit in the world of like mental health because there is so much noise, as you mentioned. It's noise. And you kind of revert back to yourself at the end of the day and you're like, well, somebody else is going through it worse. And I think growing up in the age that we did, it was always like children should be seen and not heard, or, what happens behind closed doors stays behind closed doors. Oh, yeah. Like you always heard about this. Yeah. Like you don't talk about your private stuff.
You don't air your dirty laundry.
And you don't talk about it at work. You don't talk about politics. You don't talk about money. You don't talk about. So like we grew up thinking you can't talk about anything. So people are suffering in silence, living in abusive relationships because they don't have the tools to do anything else. And they don't feel like what they're going through is as important as somebody else. So they don't want to bug you or they don't want to do this. So I try to like make my space very much like, come to me. If you need someone, you feel you have no one else. Like, I feel like everybody should be in therapy. Like,
word.
Yeah. Like I love therapy.
Me too.
Like, even if your life is perfect, sometimes you just need a sounding board. Like, oh my goodness.
I didn't start until I was 40.
Really?
Yeah, and it was offered to me when I got hurt, and I'm like, no, I'm fine. Meanwhile, I'm not fine, and then when I was 40, I was starting.
But it's not even about like being broken and needing
therapy. But that's what society was telling us, right?
And still to this day,
you're going to therapy,
yeah.
Right? Like you must have these like deep-rooted issues that I don't know about, or like what is up with that?
No,
right?
but like a sounding board should just be like, should I take this path or this path? Like, should I take this course or, should I save my money? Like, just someone to talk to.
Absolutely.
Like,
that's not your friend or your family.
That has no skin in the game.
That has no skin in the game.
Can I say that? Okay.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a skin in the game.
No, I think.
Is that bad now?
I don't know. I feel like that's a bad thing.
I never know.
Anyway.
Sometimes I say
sometimes I'm like, oh, shit.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, you know what? We'll just find out.
Yeah.
And
anyway.
And we'll just move on.
But yeah, it's just like, you need somebody in your life that, isn't personally connected to you because, I have girls in my life that will be like my husband of 10 years and they'll be like, oh my goodness, he sucks. Like he did this wrong. But then 5 minutes later, they know like everything's going to be fine.
Right.
And they're just so supportive of what you want.
Exactly.
But sometimes you need people to be like, no, you're being dramatic a little bit.
Yeah.
And, when you say it out loud to somebody who has no like ties to either of you outside of you
neutral.
Paying for them, they're very neutral and you can say whatever you want and then leave it there.
And you know what? When you say it, then it's out. And this is what I talk about when I speak about psychological safety in the workplace.
Yeah.
Your mind, your mental health in and of itself, if it's not tended to, can actually be a hazard. Because if you're thinking about something, I've been recently having, some disagreements with one of my brothers, and I just find it visceral. I feel my hands go numb. I can't stand being at odds with someone, especially not somebody that I love, right? And then it's kind of like, then you just say it. But when you don't, you're thinking about it, circling in yoga. You're driving. You're going over.
It affects every relationship.
Every relationship. It affects what your focus is like. How much you can pay attention. How
it manifests.
It manifests, absolutely. How do you feel like if we were, like what are your mechanisms to manage that? Like when that starts to happen, besides talking to a therapist, for the listeners and the people kind of going, I can relate to this, but I'm not set up for therapy. And even if I called to get a therapist, I might be on a waiting list for a year. We could have a whole nother podcast on the system of therapy and how to get system in general. But what are the things that you do to stay grounded? And I also want to give you the opportunity and hear your thoughts on, because we kind of were like, bullies and social media, because that's true. Two things can be true. But the positives, right? And how you manage your internal feelings, but being so outward. How does social media help you do that? What are some of your key check-in factors,
So I think, this is such a good question. I feel like I'm always trying to find something else that works because everything works in something could work for so long and then it doesn't work anymore.
That's absolutely
I used to love just a second. Sorry.
I can tell you that the amount of units of Botox that I was getting was working, and it's not anymore. So we need to up that up.
Well, so Botox was actually, it was so funny because the first time I got Botox, it literally felt like there was a sticker on my face. So I couldn't be mad because it's like, oh my goodness, I just paid so much for this. I don't want it to ruin. So I'm not going to be angry today. And there's so many ways that, people use to cope, and social media it can be so beneficial. Sometimes I just want to doom scroll and, watch beautiful TikToks of, cats and dogs doing cute things and babies, falling over. And, it's sometimes you just need social media to get you out of your head.
Yeah.
And, I love posting positive things. And, there's things I'll go onto social media, when I'm having a bad day, and I'll just go comment on everybody's stuff, just positive comments.
Things.
Yeah. And I'm very open and honest. I have started using my platform the last few years to be I'm not okay. And the hundreds of people, I'm very blessed to have, 40, it depends.
You have a huge following.
Yeah. If you take all of the Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok together, I have quite a few. They're probably a little bit repetitive, but 40-ish thousand. And when I say, I'm not doing well, hundreds of people come to me and they're like, I'm not doing well either. Or, I'm here for you. Or, I'm very blessed to have friends that I can reach out to. But I try to make people know that yes, don't use your friends as your therapists, because do not trauma dump on them 24/7, because then you're they're going to end up pouring from an empty cup because you're taking so much from them. Like, if you're not doing well, 100% ask your friend for help. You know, I very gratefully have 2 really good friends right now, Ashley and Kate. And, you know, when I'm not doing well, I tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm not doing well. I need something. And grateful, so grateful again for them. And, you know, like I said, trauma dumping on your friends is so, oh my goodness, it's such a territory where it's like, yes, you should tell your friends everything. But if you're not giving as much as you take and you're being such a burden on your friends, like that's hard too.
Well, and I think that there's something to be said for actually, I just love that you even brought it up, because I recognized, and I didn't know I was doing it. So my business manager is also, you know, she's my business manager first, but she's with me we're together talking all the time. Yeah. She's my friend too. And so we have that, the lines bleed over. Mm-hmm. But I realized last year that, you know, she needed to step away for a little bit and tend to some things for herself. But I thought, you know what, I'm not helping the situation here because I'm also, instead of talking just about work, you know, dumping all of this foolishness on her. She's not my therapist. And so I kind of, it was like a moment where it was like, oh,
but she's still your friend, and
she
you should
is, but
still
these aren't
100
just harmless conversations.
Yeah.
Like I am, it's
and
hard.
A lot of friends aren't equipped for this. Like they can't work this out with you. Yeah. And you know, like I think the major thing, you know, I had a friend, and you know, she's going through her stuff and whatever. And this year, you know, I've been through a lot this year. And all she was like, I would plan all of our dates. I would plan all of our hangouts. I would message to check in with her. Not once did she check in with me this year. And, you know, I had been there for her through all of the stuff she's going through. I'm trying not to say it like enough that they know who this is, because I don't want like I don't want her to know who it is. Like I don't want to shame her for it.
Yeah.
But I really had to stop, you know, asking to be that friend to hang out. And you know, when they say, "Are you mad at me?"
Yeah.
And it's like, "No, but I'm not going to keep asking you to hang out. I'm not going to try to be there for you when you are not there for me."
Well, Dani, honestly, and my bestie's going to know because we just went through. But again, it was just about being unaware. I felt like I was the one always asking. And then things came to a head. And she's been my best friend since high school. And we had a truly honest conversation, and we hugged it out, and it didn't take long. And then the last couple months for me were really crazy. And she was messaging, and she was like, "Oh my God, this is what it feels like with the shoes on the other foot." Yeah. And, you know, I'm trying to reach out and you know, and so it's, I think sometimes, and actually, in fact, today I messaged her. We're in a great place. I mean, after however many decades of friendship, you know, there haven't been that many ruffles. So it's okay, right? As long as you can have those conversations, talk it out. But today I messaged her because I hadn't heard from her in a week, and I've been going through some stuff. And I just said, "Hey, I'm just telling you, I need some quality time with you. Some stuff going on. Don't want to talk about it. Don't need to talk about it. Yeah. I just need my cup filled with some quality time with you." So I'm starting at the, you know, ripe old age of 47 to like recognize you don't have to just dump your story to 5 different friends who call you throughout the day and keep saying it and saying it and saying it. Because then you're just reliving it and you're sitting in it, and you're not giving yourself any space to move past it. Yeah. And yesterday was the new moon. And I'm telling you, I ran around my house with sage. I was like, let it go. Let it go. Let it go. You know?
Yeah, but like exactly the same. Like me and Ashley went out a couple weeks ago to the Poppy & Co. Clay Cafe. We sat down and I said, you know, this is what I'm going through. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Yeah. I just want you to know. And because like,
well, if they don't know, they can't help or support, and you're holding it in.
And I had been posting on social media, you know, some ominous things, and you know, she was like, "Hey, we need to hang out." So she reached out to me saying, you know, we need quality time because I know something's wrong. So when we sat down, I was like, "Hey, I don't want to talk about it, but here are the 3 things that are going on in my life right now. I don't know how to deal with it. Let's talk about your boy drama."
Yeah,
like. I don't like, here's everything just so you are aware. And, you know, I don't want to dive deep into it. You know, my therapist is for that, but I just So you know.
Yep, just so you know, I'm going through some stuff.
Yeah, and like you said, your friend has been your friend for years.
Yeah.
And as you grow, your boundaries will be so different. As you go through different things, your boundaries will be so different. But if you are not that person for your friend as well, like if you just expect them to always be that diary for you, it's so unfair. And, they're going to get drained and drained and drained. And every time they think of you, it's going to be like, effort. And it's going to be exhausting. And what you're going through is 100% like, yes, you need to talk to somebody. If you're going through something, reach out to your friend. And I can't stress that enough. Like, if you are suicidal, if you are like, but for every single thing, if you're not also being that for your friend, don't expect them to be that for you.
No, and that's such great advice. But Dani, I noticed you posted, and I don't know who it was, but I when I was looking through things to prepare, you lost someone. I lost somebody from home also last week. So I actually really.
So she was actually from up where you live.
Oh, really? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So her funeral was up in Shippagan.
Okay.
But yeah, she's
Yep. And
so sorry for your loss as well.
Well, it was a high school friend that I hadn't connected with in a long time, but we lost one person to cancer that was a little bit younger than me, and I think that played in part to the next person's choice to not live their life any longer. And so on a very serious note, as two people sitting in a room who've lost people or know people who are not here anymore recently because of that. Yeah. And all of the work that you've done, because this isn't just your opinion, you've been volunteering, you have made this part of your life's mission. What is, before we go to finish this sentence and end on a light note before we head into the weekend, what is your advice to someone struggling? Part 2, what are the signs that you feel people should just look out for? And I think that the world really needs
like for themselves or for others?
For others. If you're a friend and you're wondering, geez, when should I step in? What would a sign look like if the person's not talking to me, not saying that something's wrong? Like, what are some warning signs that we can kind of tune into so that we know when to kind of step in and offer that extra support?
So it really is emotional. My number one thing that I love to say to people is it's okay to not be okay. Yeah. We do not know the answers to life. We were definitely not taught it in school. And, you'll probably never know, how to feel confident or, 100%.
Fully. Exactly. Yeah.
You'll find ways to cope. You'll find ways to do this. But, at the end of the day, you're the one that has to live with yourself. And if you can't do it alone, reach out to somebody. Reach out to me. Reach out to, somebody in your life that, I always tell my followers, I'm like, reach out to me because, I have no stake in your life. Like, if you just want to, tell me how much, you hate your husband or you hate your mother-in-law right now, and, suicide is at the forefront of your mind, or you even think about that, like, go to somebody. Yeah. Ask somebody for help. Yeah. Like, that is the number one, is don't be afraid to ask for help, because what you're going through is not small, it's big, and you matter.
And I want to add to that, and because not that I have those feelings right now, but I'm like, I'm just kind of in a bit of a funk with some stuff, and I have to keep reminding myself, this is temporary.
But also, you don't want to get to the end of that.
Oh, absolutely not.
You want to before it gets too bad. Yeah. Ask for help. Feel like it's so scary because, we were talking about
protect your peace.
Yeah. Protect your freaking peace.
Protect your peace. Like, that's my mantra right now. I'm like, get the noise out. Yep. Don't have the conversation you don't
let it get too far.
Don't let it get to you. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, these things come in all different levels, but you don't want it to get too far, and you don't want to diminish. No, I wasn't thinking about that. But, depression's a very slippery slope.
Oh, it
and not
is.
Feeling good
It can take a couple days. It can take a couple hours. It can take weeks, months, years.
Yeah, but we do have to remember that along with the good things, also the not so good things, everything's temporary. Yeah. It's going to shift. It's going to move. Dani, I want to finish this sentence.
Let's do it.
This is a new idea I have.
Let's do it. I don't even know what this is. But
I'm going to say a sentence, and you say the first thing that comes to mind, and then we'll go out into our weekend. And I mean, This has just been so great. Okay, Dani Squires. A small thing that makes me ridiculously happy is
Taco Bell. I will drive a half an hour for
Girl,
Taco Bell.
you have no shame. You have no shame.
Stewiak Taco Bell knows me too well.
Stewiak Taco Bell. Shout out
Taco Bell.
If my life had a theme song right now, it would be
Pretty Ugly by Zara Larsson. Obsessed.
Okay, I'm gonna have to.
You're gonna listen to that on the way home, and it's gonna be your hype song.
It's gonna be my hype song. Is that gonna make you want to get a bikini on for vacation?
Oh yeah,
or not?
You're gonna love it.
Okay.
You're gonna love it.
The best advice I've ever ignored is.
Okay, so it's actually funny that you say protect your peace. That's probably at first the advice that I've ignored, and people use it against me all the time. They're like, you use protect your peace as a way to kick people out of your life. Like, yes, I do. I'm happy to do so. Like, I'm protecting my peace because at the end of the day, I have to live with myself.
That's right.
So, ignoring that for like the first few years before I really like leaned into it, that's probably... Yeah. Yeah,
I feel that too. I think it's something that I was saying but not doing.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning more into it now too.
Yeah.
And, and I mean,
And the people using it against you, like,
right?
That's who you need to protect your peace from. Yeah. Like, goodbye.
Word to Big Bird. Something people would be surprised to learn about me is...
Oh my goodness. I am a chess champion of Canada for under 18. Yeah.
Like, can you get over this girl? Like,
isn't that funny?
What she went through, and like off to university, working, playing chess, like you volunteering. Like, oh my God, kids! If you're listening, this is what you can do. Anything.
Well, so I stopped before I went to university because I was too embarrassed. But it's so funny. Like, I have boxes of medals and trophies and all this stuff at home. Oh yeah, so
I love.
I was the third best in Canada under 18. In like, oh my goodness, 2011 or something like that.
Okay.
Like, I don't remember the year, but it was, yeah, so.
Love it. This is going really well.
Thank you.
I stopped waiting for permission when I
turned 30.
Okay, great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those old
I just turned 30. Yeah. But it's so funny because growing in my 20s, I was like, my life's over at 30. My dad had me at 27, and I see the life he's lived since he's had me. And I'm like, wow, I still have, like, I'm 31. But between 27 and 31, I see the life he's lived in just the last few years. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I still have like 30 years left to be where he is.
Right.
And I still have so much life left. Yeah. So when I turned 30, I really
That's also great advice.
Yeah.
Like, things can change for you.
So much.
You're not going to stay where you are.
Yeah. Like, literally when I turned 30, I couldn't eat any more spaghetti because tomato paste caused heartburn. And, I stopped being like, I just started asking for forgiveness.
But Taco Bell doesn't.
No, Taco Bell's good. Like, I'm on my way home tonight. I'm going to stop there on my way home to Moncton. But yeah, like, it's so funny. So I definitely stopped asking for permission when I turned 30.
Yeah.
Just being like, protect your peace, protect yourself. And, at the end of the day, like I said, you have to live with yourself.
Yep.
And you have to be comfortable in your own skin.
Truth. And
you're never going to 100% be there. So.
Truth. I want to end with words of yours. Again, I did not a little bit. I was, I'm always peeking into what you're doing. But one thing that you said really stuck out with me, and I wrote it right down. It's right from you. And it's just, you reminded people, be gentle with people. Reach out, ask the hard questions. Be okay to sit with discomfort. Say the extra I love you. Check in more than you think you need
Always.
to. And you never truly know what someone is carrying behind their smile.
100%.
Dani, thank you for being
so much
here.
For having
thank
me,
you
really
for being you. The world needs more of you.
The world needs more of you.
Keep doing
thank you for
what
doing
you're
this.
doing and glittering it all in pink the way you did on your amazing on your website. It's just been a complete honor to sit down, and this has been so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
for everything.
Dani.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap on today's episode of Some Assembly Required. If this conversation resonated with you, don't forget to follow, rate, and review the show wherever you're listening. It helps more people find these stories and join the conversation. And talking is what it's all about. You can connect with us and stay up to date on new episodes by following Some Assembly Required on social media. Some Assembly Required is hosted by me, Candace Carnahan, produced by the marvelous Madison Irvin, with production by Podstarter, helping powerful stories find their voice. Thanks for listening, and remember, life might not come with instructions, but every little piece is a part of who you're becoming. We'll see you next time.